Hi, I'm Michael LaFosse from the Origami Dough Studio, and this little etude is an origami squirrel designed by our friend LaVins. Because of its simplicity, the weight and importance of every element is paramount. In this etude, you'll be learning about angles and proportions and how to train yourself using tools in the beginning, but then take your training wheels off later to be able to free fold this from start to finish. You're going to begin with the white side facing up if you're using an origami paper that's colored this way. Fold in half, bottom corner to top, and unfold. Turn your paper over and rotate the paper square and so that the mountain crease runs diagonally to the top right side corner. We're going to put two little pinch marks that will serve as landmarks. Begin by pretending to fold the bottom edge to the top. The reason why I say pretending is because you're not going to fold all the way across. Just a pinch mark over here on the right side and open. This pinch mark will be a guide for the mark that we're really looking for. We're going to make that by folding the same bottom edge up to the pinch mark. Don't fold all the way across. Fold just this second pinch mark, like that. Now rotate the paper so the mountain crease runs vertically, and you can see the pinch marks over here in the top edge. Bottom corner to top, making a triangle shape. Flip the triangle over and upside down so that the folded edge is at the top and so that you can see your pinch marks over here on the right side. It's this pinch mark here that we're most interested in using at the raw edge. Take the bottom left edge of the top layer and fold it up to a line with the folded top edge. Don't fold all the way across. We're going to fold to the point, but back here we're going to stop where this mountain crease intersects. Now, use the mountain crease to fold the corner in half. Pivoting at that point, swivel the paper and don't flatten the paper until the new folded edge will hit your landmark crease. So that's the need for that crease. We're going to do the same thing on the other side, and though we don't have the pinch marks there, we have the work from the previous side to guide us. So we're going to make this end skinny and pointed, stopping where the mountain crease will intersect with it. Fold the corner in half, swivel, match ear to ear. These are going to be the squirrel's ears, one corner to the other, and then flatten. So our paper looks like this. Estimate about 1/4 this folded edge length. So it would be 1/4 in at this end. You can visually imagine that. Or if you're not so sure, here's what you could do. Take a scrap piece of paper, starting out here, fold to make a mark at the other end. And now we can easily divide this by folding in half. Half of a half is a fourth. So we've made our own measuring tool from a scrap of paper. Once you know where that point is, even if by estimate, you can put your thumbnail on that point as a break. We're going to move the remaining part of this edge up and to intersect with this V-notch here where my white and gray paper is. So you see I'm pivoting where my thumbnail stops it, and I'm going to place the edge on the intersecting point and fold. So this sets the angle for the tail. Unfold that. We're going to outside reverse fold the tail. It's usually best to exercise the crease. So you see I've mountain folded and valley back and forth on that hinge so that when I turn this inside out on those creases, things will go well. So here's the outside reverse fold. If you're doing this by wet folding, you can probably get away with just directly turning the paper inside out and placing it. Here is the length that we need to imagine repeated up at this angle and edge over on this side. Again, you can simply imagine where that point may be. Or, if you wish, you could take the ruler that you made originally, because that's the length right there, and simply move it to that point. Now, if you wish, you can put a little thumbnail scratch on that point so that you don't need the ruler in the way. And we're going to use another trick by taking an existing square cut piece of origami paper. For our next step is that we're going to put a fold right here on this length of paper. It needs to be perpendicular to this horizontal baseline, and its origin needs to be at the mark that we estimate or that we make by measurement. You can see what happens here. Here's a right angle, and this line goes straight up. If I use the paper as a guide when I'm first training myself how to fold this squirrel, then I can get a good copy of it exactly. Later on, I don't need these tools because I will have trained myself about these proportions by angles, estimates, and lengths. We will no longer need these tools. Notice this top edge line here and where the ear papers protrude. I'd like for you to look at the front end and see this short distance here in front of the ear. Imagine that duplicated approximately at this point behind the ear. So I have about a distance in front and a distance behind that's the same. At that point, I'm going to bend the paper and take this top edge upon itself, pointing forward like that. So this is the front edge of the squirrel's body, and we want some of the muzzle to protrude beyond there, but not all the way to a point. So you're going to rat fold right about there, folding the top edge on itself, estimating how much paper you want for the muzzle. And now is a good time to be able to inside reverse fold the tips of the ears. What I like to do is to tightly hold them together and place one fold for both ears to set a common angle and level. Now that I have those little folds, I simply bring them back up, open the paper layers, and fold the points inside, making a clean inside reverse fold of it to blunt the shape of the ears. One on each side. Like that. There are two landmarks to pay attention to. One is this point here where the folded edge of the top layer intersects with the layer underneath. And then the other landmark is this line at the top of the head, that edge right there. You would fold the ear pointing backwards, guiding the top edge of the ear to make sure it clears this corner at the top of the head, while aiming to make the fold complete its length at this point of intersection here. So the first one is the one that takes all the work. The second one is simple. Turn the paper over to the other side and fold ear to ear. Like that. Notice that we don't have the additional landmark on this side. It's only on the front while I have this paper organized this way. So we do one side that has the landmark, we do the side on the other side that doesn't. Incidentally, a lot of this landmarking where we were measuring and placing an exact length of this edge and that edge done with tools is for training. After you do this for a while, you don't need the tools, and that's what this little effort is all about, is trying to duplicate this squirrel start to finish with your best estimate and not using any of the tools. Pull the flap fully open. You can see we've got these alternating valley and mountain folds. We're going to be outside reverse folding this point in a couple of places, and for us to do that well, we need to first knock the crease out and bend it exactly behind. We want to exercise these hinges. So we've exercised these hinges and now they should work well. Here's the best way to handle this. Open the paper from the top, find the largest creases and they're closest to the body, and just bend them backwards like this, softly. Now don't flatten everything out completely yet, because you're going to go to the front side now and look at the next crease and bend that forward. Look at the final crease. This is the blunting fold that makes the muzzle. And now that we've got all of these layers organized this way, we can softly, carefully reorganize it flat. Here we have the completed origami squirrel designed by LaVins. During this lesson, you learned how to improvise a scrap of paper as a measuring tool. And you can use that technique in any origami design that you wish to master. Once you've trained yourself with the tool and measuring for proportions and angles, you can abandon that little crutch and confidently fold beautiful pieces from start to finish. We hope you enjoyed this project, and thanks again, Anne, for this wonderful origami squirrel.